Welcome to the Schmucks of the Galaxy podcast.
You wound me up and then you took the wind out of my sails.
I'm your Shimigami Demon Lord, Toby.
I'm Will I Am Defoe.
God damn it. You took mine!
Why am I the only one that actually says my name?
Oh, that's true. I am Zach.
Because he's become his alias.
Well, I kind of wish that, like, when I said Will I Am Defoe, like, a beat started playing, or a remix of sound clips from
Okay, we're moving on.
Yeah, okay, good idea. Good idea, honestly.
Who are you?
Then I guess I have to be the Green Goblin. My name's also Ben, but you could also call me Gobby.
You gotta blow your nose.
Spider-Man!
You be speaking nasally.
Are you just out of your mind?
Are you in or are you out?
I'm upside down, Spider-Man!
Kiss me.
Ew. I think that's another movie.
Now, are we quoting the Sam Raimi movie or the porn parody?
Honestly, that's debatable.
I feel like they're one and the same.
Ooh, those are some fighting words.
Yeah, we were going to talk about Death Note, but now I guess we're just going to talk about how we all masturbate to Sam Raimi Spider-Man in 2002.
No, are you kidding me? Doc Ock's tentacles get me going.
Okay, so...
Delicious.
Well...
They really grunkle my funkle.
Oh, man. Now I'm hungry for some calamari.
Honestly, I am too.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Low-key. Alright.
It's not low-key if you scream it out loud.
Calamari!
Well, now it's high key.
You're right, now it's like...
And these are my keys.
Okay, moving on. I'm ashamed that I used, like, millennial slang. So
yeah, you fucking...
It definitely bit me in the ass right there.
Not all
These are my keys.
It's not all that's biting you in the ass, you little young boy.
What the fuck?
Jesus
are you
Christ.
talking about?
Anyways.
Okay.
So Death Note is a movie.
No, you can't call it that.
Okay, it's technically a Netflix original movie
That's
that
better.
came out
like
not
Ghost
too
in the
long
Shell
ago.
better.
Was it a week ago?
I haven't seen Ghost in the Shell. It came out on my birthday, actually.
Hey.
Ghost in the Shell wasn't that terrible.
I haven't seen it. I'm still waiting.
It's like a 6 out of 10, but as anime movies go, solid.
I didn't hear you.
What I was saying was like Ghost in the Shell, 6 out of 10, solid as anime movies go.
It's funny because
Live action.
One of the subtitles in one of the many Ghost in the Shell properties is Solid State Society. It's a low key
Okay, stop.
I'm not even joking. That's an actual.
God.
This is what happens when like no one talks and then I'm the only one left to talk.
What if it was called the Sam Raimi edition of Ghost in the Shell?
That's why we don't put you in charge.
That's dangerous.
Well, it just wouldn't make sense.
It's
but
dangerous.
I love it.
Hey, Sam Raimi's name is on this thing. Oh, really? What did he do?
Nothing.
I like it.
If Sam Raimi actually directed this movie,
I feel like it'd be pretty good.
It'd be pretty good because an Evil Dead like sort of personality injected into this movie might have actually fit fairly
Here's
well.
the thing. I feel like they attempted that and it failed miserably.
I mean, not Evil Dead, but they definitely tried to
I get what you mean. Humor, horror.
Well, yeah, but the movie, like, okay, so here's the thing. Adam Wingard I've only seen, I think, 2 of his movies, but I only remember one of them well. I saw The Guest, and that was the one that really stuck with me.
I enjoyed that.
Because that movie's awesome. Like,
That's the one with Dan Stevens.
Yeah, that movie, have you seen The Guest?
It's on Netflix.
So the premise of that movie is that Dan Stevens, the guy who plays the Beast in the live-action Beauty and the Beast, he comes...
Well, he's also Legion.
Yeah, he's Legion, too.
But he's, I know him as The Guest. So The Guest...
That was actually the first thing I saw.
Yeah, same. So basically, he shows up to this family. He's like, hey, I was your son's war buddy who died, and I just wanted to, like, say he was, like, my best friend and shit. And then, like, he moves in with them for, like, a week, and then, like, they're like, who is this guy? And they're like really like skeptical about him, and you just start learning shit about him, and things get really weird. And it's like a horror thriller movie.
Oh, that sounds cool.
It's pretty cool. But the movie was very good, not just because of its premise, and the acting.
The Guest, not Death Note.
Well, yeah, the Guest. We're talking about The Guest right now.
We need to make that clear because Death Note.
Yeah,
is rough.
We'll get there. But Adam Wingard, at least from that movie, what I remember, because I think I saw a little bit of You're Next on like pay-per-view or whatever. I don't fucking know. But
he did You're Next.
He did You're Next.
So then that makes sense.
Yeah, and like,
which I love that movie until it gets to the end at the twist at the end. I didn't like that.
I didn't get one.
But
I
I'm
didn't
not
see the
gonna. I'm
ending.
not gonna ruin it.
But anyways, The Guest is really good because of its style. Like, it's a well shot movie. It's well lit. It has a very 80s horror vibe to it, sort of like It Follows.
Mhm.
And it's actually funny. If I remember correctly, I might be completely wrong, but I think the main teenage girl in The Guest is the same one from It Follows.
Yeah, pretty
Which
sure.
is pretty funny because those movies are like very stylistically the exact same.
Yeah.
And Adam Wingard sort of like brings that sort of style towards Death Note, and I mean, here's the thing: this is not a terrible movie, but it's not a good movie. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't know.
He's saying it's not for clarification's sake. He's not saying it's good. He's just saying that it's
Yeah,
not atrocious.
but even if I said it was good, it's not. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's my beef, not with the movie, but like the lead up, like the culture around the movie. I feel like people, up to and after the release of Death Note 2016, there were people dead set on hating it just because it's an adaptation of an anime where it has
You're
white people in
Right.
it.
I mean, we don't fall into that category because I don't know about you, Zach, but Toby and I hated the show. Like,
Yeah.
Toby finished it, which I don't know how. I couldn't finish it.
I didn't. Okay.
I made it like halfway.
I didn't hate it. I hated parts of it. I just didn't care for it. I honestly did not care for the show.
I
What did
hated
you think?
Light. Light
I-
was the worst protagonist.
I can see that. I read the manga. I actually only watched a few episodes. I found that it works better, like, reading it. It's one
Really?
of those. I don't know what it is about how it's adapted, but I feel like usually when they do animes, they divide each chapter into an episode.
Right.
And the thing is when you're reading it and it flows,
It makes more sense.
it's like a really cool supernatural mystery.
Yeah, they didn't have enough time with this.
Right. But with the anime, you have to be a little bit more patient, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's weird to say because there's this assumption, and even I have this most of the time, that when it's on film and it's moving, it feels like it's moving faster.
Right.
But I found that, like, with Death Note in particular, the manga actually flows better because it's more wordy and more intelligent. And there's not a lot of
Oh
action,
yeah, there was
really.
nothing intelligent about.
Oh,
the
no,
live-
no,
the live
I noticed
action.
that.
Well, here's the thing. To that point, it's also more or less maybe the exact same thing when you read a book because the idea
Right.
of how like the pacing goes and
Well,
how
yeah,
you visualize
you
it,
can
it's
take more time with it.
exactly. And I feel like that, in terms of the concept or the premise, that can work well, like better than other situations.
Right.
And I feel like Death Note.
They should have taken the most recognizable parts of each character and just played those up because they didn't have enough time.
Right.
But what they did is I feel like the only person that was the same was Ryuk and maybe L.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Can I
But that's
just-
also kind of a stretch.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this before you continue, but can we agree that whether you like the anime or not, it's a million times better than the movie?
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
original, that's for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, not an accurate like a unit of measurement. I don't think it's a million times better. I think it's like a smidge better because I think this movie. Now, I'm probably in the minority, but I feel like
I think
this
you
movie.
are. The
Yeah, you
anime didn't
definitely
make
are.
me groan.
Yeah,
in
but the thing is,
pain.
I feel like this movie had its own pluses and minuses that sort of make it on more or less the same level as the anime. I feel like what the anime has that this movie doesn't is consistency. Because the
Yeah.
anime is consistently bizarre and over the top, and it sort of stays that way from beginning to end.
It knows the story it wants to tell.
Yeah, and this movie, it
This
starts
one's
out,
like a love
it's-
story, revenge.
but like the thing is, the problem with that'd be fine, but it's all of those things at different times.
yeah, and then it wants to be like a vigilante thing, and then it's
Yeah.
like a police procedural, and then it's like a detective thriller, and
Yeah.
then it's
Yeah,
like
right.
a creepy Watanabe part. Like it's just it's so
That part
totally
genuinely
inconsistent.
confused me.
It didn't make sense. Like was he in the show?
I don't remember. Was
Was he in the manga?
the guy with the ponytail?
I
The
don't remember.
L?
To be honest.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Regardless, like it doesn't. It makes
Yeah.
like the point.
I loved it.
His
I'm so
reasoning.
shocked to
His
hear this.
reasoning for like
Uh-huh.
doing what he did, like going to the whatever orphanage thing, made sense. But
Right.
like,
Was that in the show? I don't remember.
I have no
Um,
memory of that. But
Again, my memory of it is good. I remember loving it. I read it.
Yeah,
I bought this collection that was like 3 volumes in one. I just read
it's
them
called the
all.
Omnibus.
Yeah, right. Really good. Here's the thing about it, though. I can see why people wouldn't like Death Note because I had to take a break. I remember when L died in the anime.
mhm.
I was like, I need a break
Yeah,
because Light doesn't really carry the show very well. I
No.
think
No.
he's not a good protagonist.
He's
But
an asshole.
yeah, but the concept and the like world building and stuff like that, I thought was really.
I just
good.
didn't want to
Yeah.
root for him, but maybe I'm not supposed
I
to
get
root.
it.
Maybe
Well,
you're not supposed
So
to root for
here's
him. I don't know.
here's my beef with Death Note as a whole, anime, this movie
Okay.
in general.
Yeah.
Well, less this movie, but I think the movie does what I'm about to say worse. But let me say my point
Okay.
specifically about the anime.
Yeah.
I think Light is a terrible protagonist because he starts out as like, oh, he's super smart, and then when he gets the Death Note, now he's just a super smart sociopath, like murdering machine,
Right.
and everyone's like, ooh, that's so engaging and cool. Like the idea of a high schooler, I get that, like the idea of a high schooler having the ability to kill whoever he wants, but
It
there's-
should have been a down on his luck kid,
I
not
well, I think that
super genius.
having him super smart at least, but like having him be like this movie does something terrible
He's not
where
very.
the
He's not human.
right that was my problem with the show. He didn't. He felt
He's
like
more-
a character. He
he's
didn't
more
feel like a
cur-
person.
Yeah, he's
better
more,
in the show than
Yeah,
in the
but
movie.
Yeah.
but again, he was still better in the show. Like I hated the character, but he was still better in the show because at least in the show you had time to see him make the transition. Now I didn't like the transition because I felt like as soon as he turned into the sociopath, that's
Well, I was
where
gonna
his
say,
like
I don't
character
think
progression stopped.
he's never really light. He's always Kira.
Right.
It's just sometimes like at the turning point, he's a more exaggerated Kira.
Right.
But he's always Kira. There's no light. Light is just a stand-in for
It's
this
like
crazy.
Batman. Light is the mask, but Kira is
Yeah.
the person.
It's exactly Batman. But just make Bruce Wayne really underdeveloped.
Right, and I think that
Mm.
as soon as like Light makes that transition to Kira in the show, after that he doesn't really develop as a character. He just stays, and the only like things that he has to do as a character is how does he get out of this given scenario. But in this movie, and keep in mind, just again, given that I'm not a fan of that idea. The idea I'm a fan of, but like
his
the execution,
intelligence is also
but in this-
inconsistent in the movie.
right? And that's
Oh yeah.
that's
he's-
what I hate about.
He's smart in the beginning and the end, and
That's why
he's
I think
so
that
dumb.
his character is the worst part of this live action movie. Is that the way they develop his character is even worse than the way I saw it in the anime because
exactly.
he's first of all he's seen as smart because he's paying like
People
he's
are
being
paying
paid
him to do their tests,
right,
or
and I guess
homework.
like that's fine, but at the same time he's not a confident enough person to make you believe that he would be the one to create the
want
idea.
to kill someone,
Right, and at the same time,
And like Kira is such a like grand idea,
yeah,
and in the movie they're just like, "Hey, let's beat Kira because
Exactly.
it's Japanese."
No, I like the idea of this light, like the idea of light, not light as a character, but the
he
idea
has
of
like
a light character becoming the Kira personality is cool, and I like that. It's just that in the anime, I didn't like that. As soon as he basically assumed the role as Kira, he didn't develop as a character after that.
Yeah,
But it's like there's no transition to Kira. He's just Kira immediately.
and then they're on the FBI's most
And then
wanted list.
yeah, it's like we're off to the FBI's most wanted
in like a
list.
span of
We have
5 minutes.
we are there's a religion created after us.
Yeah,
The world's after us. It's like
Lord Kira.
this is
Thank you, Lord Kira.
this is my problem with
There's just-
adapting a TV show into a movie
They
because
they didn't give proper time to what like they should have spent more time on the beginning part and then
Right.
had the big finale.
I think either make this movie 45 minutes longer to allow the characters to develop.
I don't know if I could get through that.
Neither do I, but if like it added stuff to make you care about the characters,
guess.
maybe. But again, this is the thing I always bring up in terms of making a TV show into a movie. But The Fugitive is one of the best adaptions ever because it's based on a TV show and it's a 2.5-hour movie with Harrison Ford, and they condense the entire TV show in less than 3 hours, and it still works because they keep the stuff that's important that makes the show what it is memorable, and it works on its own right and as an adaptation.
They just made everyone caricatures in this one.
I agree,
Like
and I feel like
stereotypical
and I
characters.
feel like that's owed to the credit that it's an hour and 40-minute long movie. Had
Yeah.
this been either an HBO or I guess in this case a Netflix miniseries,
Well,
like
Netflix
like
has
Band
done-
of Brothers, like a few episodes that are like a few hours long each, like it would have been a fine adaptation that allows the characters to develop.
And they've done 2-hour plus movie. Like What Happened to Monday, with actually also with Willem Dafoe. was really good, and it's like 2 hours and 15, I think, and it doesn't feel like it. But Death Note is an hour 40, and it felt like 3 hours. Like
Yeah.
it was so painful.
That's again, I feel like that is this movie is a great lesson in how editing and pacing can destroy what could be a good movie, because there are good pieces.
And the music.
Yeah.
I love Atticus Ross, who did the music. He does David Fincher's music with
Right.
Trent Reznor, and he's now part of Nine Inch Nails with Trent Reznor.
Right.
I thought the music was awful.
Well, because it didn't fit at all.
I don't know if he just
It had
didn't.
it had no contribution to.
Yeah,
Death Note
I
as
don't
a
know.
whole.
I don't know if
It
he.
did make
I don't
sense.
think
Yeah.
he knew what this movie was, and they were just like,
Right.
"Hey, let's put your name on
Well,
it. So just give us some tracks."
It's funny that you mentioned the 80s guest thing where they used some 80s music, because I felt like watching and he was trying to go for like a cool aesthetic. Like, here we have a teenager who's
Yeah.
kind of a hipster.
It got a little
Well,
emo.
and it-
if we're
not
just
work,
talking,
yeah.
if we're just talking about real world stuff, that would make sense. Having like "Take My Breath Away" play at a high school prom in today's
I
world
know.
would not happen. No matter how much, no matter how much I would love that, it just would not happen.
But like
You would have like really shitty dubstep
The-
and like
the scene-
shot, like all that shitty music.
the
that they
scene
play.
that I thought was closest
You're
to
right.
the
Yeah.
source was when they're in the coffee shop,
Right.
and that's the only time that they even
That was,
get
like,
close.
Other
to,
than the first time Light and Ryuk meet, that was the only other good scene in the movie, in my opinion.
well, okay, their first meeting scene is terrible until
Okay,
Ryuk starts talking.
until Ryuk,
I
like,
agree 100%
because he
with
just
that.
starts screaming.
right, he screams like a little girl, and it's like crazy that person can.
I
somehow
started
become
laughing out
Kira.
loud. I literally started laughing. I was like, "Wait, what the?
Yeah, here's the
what
thing.
is this?"
The anime manga like him or hate him, he's not a wuss.
He's
No.
calculating.
Yeah,
And again,
whereas
that's
this one
why
was a wuss.
that person becoming this Kira, the idea of
make
Kira,
sense,
it
yeah.
makes sense.
Oh, makes sense.
No, it does make sense. Like someone
the
like
anime
that.
version.
No,
makes
the
sense.
anime version, not the movie
Oh,
version.
okay.
Yeah,
That
like
makes a
the
lot of
idea
sense.
of the anime version of Light becoming Kira makes sense because he's not like
Well, that's
a
where they-
totally like he's the person that would become that kind of person.
Well, that's where they
If you
tried.
in the
They
anime.
tried
Yeah.
to. They added the girlfriend, and they tried to make her sociopathic.
Okay, I will say this: the idea behind changing Mia into
which
this,
I was actually fine with. They just didn't do it well.
they executed it terribly. But I thought,
Yeah.
but I thought in the anime it was even worse. It was like some pop star that also has her own Death Note and Shimigami. It's like
Really,
Yeah.
I kind of dug it. I thought it was weird and bizarre, but I was like, okay.
Like I
I'm
like
cool
the
with
idea
this.
that other people have their own Death Notes and Shimigami, and I
Light
think.
fucked her over in the anime.
Yeah.
Well, I thought she was a worse character in the anime because I feel like she was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I love you so much because you kill people," and she was like this too. But I mean,
But then she also killed people, and then she wanted more power, and then she was gonna kill him. So,
Yeah, that
and
was
then she
weird.
was gonna kill herself.
no, it was weird.
So
But
they
again,
could be together forever. I was like,
I thought I
what?
thought the idea that that part of her wanted to fuck over Light to be the new owner of the Death Note was interesting, and that's where I was like, "Oh, this is something that,
It just made,
at least from what I recollect, the anime didn't do."
but it made a
Yeah.
not likable character just as unlikable as you can get.
Yeah, she was like, "Ooh, fuck this girl!" Like she's being like an absolutely terrible person, but it's at least interesting. It's like thematically interesting because, like, ooh, someone has the opportunity and they do something absolutely terrible. Because Light at least wants to do right, like he has good intentions, but
Which the other one didn't.
right. And now
In
Mia,
the anime.
yeah, and then Mia. Well, he had good intentions.
good
It's just like he was
intentions.
a dick.
I mean,
Like he had good.
he didn't say it well.
Both Lights have.
He was
good
like a
intentions.
chaotic good.
Yeah.
Is what he
He
was.
was like wanted to be like an anti-hero, but like Light in this movie and in the show, but just for this point that I'm making, Light had good intentions, and in the show, Mia was like even more one-dimensional
Yeah.
than Light.
Sure, yeah.
But in this movie, it at least made her character. Granted, her character wasn't very well written at
Anything.
all. Yeah, and I didn't think the actress did a very good job. Like
I
she
think
wasn't
did
given-
the best with
Yeah,
what she had.
like I feel like everyone was doing the
it's
best
not.
what they could have.
It's not
Yeah.
Nat Wolf levels of bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, Nat Wolf was
he was
really
just bad. I think like he had some good material.
I don't know
but
why
he
they
just
cast
blew-
him.
You know what's weird?
I
though?
feel like Miles Teller would have been an interesting choice, even though I hate his face. But like I don't, I hate Light too. So
you know something funny about that though? I'm not a big Nat Wolf fan.
right,
Well,
And
he's-
this
what has he
movie's
been in
okay.
besides-
Paper Towns? I saw Paper Towns, that John
Really?
Green movie.
Paper Towns.
Huh.
And here's the thing: it's your typical John Green movie.
Yeah.
But the thing is Nat Wolf. I didn't come out going, wow, he's an amazing actor, but he was like perfectly fine, just like most actors are in most movies you see. You don't think twice about it because they're not really bad, but
Right.
they're amazing.
He's not lead.
He was good.
He's not
He's a
lead
young
character.
adult movie actor, and this is not a young adult.
But what
movie.
I'm saying is,
Well, he's not lead. He's not lead character material.
Well, especially this kind of lead.
I
character.
think in this, I'm not saying I'm a big fan, but he's been good before and fine.
Right.
I mean standard.
Sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Where it didn't I didn't walk out going, what a terrible performance. I didn't think about it.
Right.
Whereas with Death Note, I really noticed that it wasn't strong.
No, because
he's the main character.
This is
and
a
he's not
character
menacing.
that really demands like the kind of double personality thing.
He did not do that.
He did not at all.
I agree.
He absolutely did not. I feel like had they gotten the right person, like had they put in the effort to cast someone Willem Dafoe level of perfect casting,
I don't even
for
know who that would be.
And neither would I.
An unknown
It could have
one.
been a completely unknown, but had they put in more time to find the exact right person to do this, I
It
feel like
probably
this
would've
movie,
saved
this movie would have been exponentially better in terms of like enjoyment and quality. Because had they had someone who could like carry this movie better than he could, and
then Elle tried to when he
Elle,
came in.
I thought Elle was fine. I didn't.
He had moments where I was like, he's actually pretty good, and then other times where I was like, oh my
I agree
god,
completely.
Yeah.
just shut up.
I feel like Elle's like.
Where is my Watanabe? Where is my wonton Watanabe? It's like, shut up. And then the whole time, was this in the show when did he always eat candy?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was
Did
always
he?
ate potato
Sweets.
chips.
What really bothered me was when he's first introduced.
He would sit in that weird position.
Yeah. What bothered me was when he's introduced and they're like, the insulin from your body will give you lots of energy, so eat the sugar and then go to sleep. And it's like, as a type 1 diabetic, that's not how it works. Like, if I did that, I would die. I was like, no.
That's pretty
Maybe
good.
Science!
Maybe there's like an external force that forces every piece of entertainment to alter the accurate information for diabetes.
Like in The Walking Dead, she's like, oh my god, my blood sugar is low, I need insulin. And they inject her. If I did that, that's how you die. When your blood sugar is low and you give more insulin, that's how you die. So I'm like, why can't you just do 5 seconds of research? Like, I'm not even asking you to be
But I like the idea that
super accurate.
I like the idea that someone's breathing down the writer's neck of every writer in Hollywood's like,
They
no, change that detail. And it's like now everyone who has diabetes, like,
It's
just
just
fucked
wrong.
over.
I don't think I've ever seen it portrayed accurately, and I don't even need it to be a big deal in the plot. But like, just
If you're
get the
gonna
science
show it,
right.
if
Like,
you're gonna show it,
then
show
just
it right.
then just don't like use an unnamed disease or
Right.
something. Because that took me out of it immediately. I was like, "Fuck you."
It would have been better had they just said, "This guy's fucking weird and he eats a lot of sugar."
Yeah, and then he put on like those weird sunglasses, and he's like, "No, your diabetes, blood sugar, insulin will go into the sunglasses, and there's lights on it." And I was like, "Shut up!"
This movie was weird.
It just made no sense.
You should have just ended the podcast there.
Nah,
This movie was weird.
it really was.
It had
though.
some good visual moments.
Well,
Oh,
the
yeah,
thing.
that's
That's
for
the
sure.
thing. Adam Wingard, he's a good director, and keep in mind, this is the guy who's going to be directing Godzilla vs Kong. So
Oh,
I
boy.
feel like that's a movie. If he has the right script, like he did with The Guest, if he has something that, in terms of quality and content, is up there, he can make a good movie. Because
Yeah.
The Guest is the exact polar opposite of Death Note.
He-
It's a stylistic
he tried.
movie.
It's just
Yeah,
not his fault.
Yeah, this is not a movie. You can tell that people.
I mean,
put
it's
in the,
kind of his fault, but he tried.
But like, it's not like everyone dropped the ball. Like, this is a movie where even though it's not very good, you can tell that there was effort put into
Yeah.
it. Like, this isn't like Dragon Ball Evolution, where like
it wasn't a cash
it's,
cow.
yeah, it's not like people are like cashing in on the brand recognition.
Yeah.
This is something where like. If this was any other adaptation, like the small details of Ryuk, like he having a thing for eating apples, and
Yeah, that didn't
Light having a
bother me.
surname named Kira, and like his like the small little details that like made Death Note at least interesting for other people, not for me, but for other people. That stuff that like there's the small little details that gave character to like a demon character, they wouldn't even be there.
Yeah.
And I feel like there was stuff like that in addition to the style and the soundtrack. Again, it might have not all worked together, but they at least
It's
tried to
when
do something interesting.
when Atticus Ross got in, I don't know. I feel like it wasn't his. I don't know. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's usually pretty spot on. Like, I feel like someone was like, "We need to use '80s music at the end," because it didn't bother me for the rest of the movie, the soundtrack,
Right.
like in the begin up until that point.
You know what's funny regarding you?
My jaw dropped when I saw his name in the credits. I was like, oh my god! Like he's usually fantastic. Like I don't understand.
No, I get that. Something that I found funny is when you were talking about. I'm not trying to discredit the director, but something I find funny is when you were talking about a great visual director, who's not a good director, or at least
Zack Snyder.
Zack
Snyder immediately came to mind. I was like, who would be great as an art director, but is terrible at directing?
But you see, that
Snyder.
is a very different people because Adam Wingard at least has directed movies that are
good.
Yeah, they have good concepts and are executed well, and also this is the
even though I didn't like Watchmen, that was visually interesting.
I loved the Watchmen.
He's a great
adaptation.
visual director,
but here's the thing: I feel like Zack
Yeah.
Snyder has made a career off of other people's works. He's made many
You're right,
adaptions, and he his first big movie was
Dawn
of the Dead remake, which is, to be fair, a great remake, but it's not an original concept. All of his movies, from what I like, other than Sucker Punch, are like all things
which
that
was
have,
atrocious.
yeah, but like they're all things that have been established before. Adam Wingard, like he's made like a small like cult following based off of The Guest and You're Next, two movies
which I enjoyed. Both of them.
Two big passion projects. He also directed the new Blair Witch movie, the one that came
I
out
haven't
last
seen
year.
that yet.
I heard it was good.
I heard it was all right. I don't know. Some
people just
said
compare
it
to
sucked,
the.
but
You can't compare to the original.
yeah, but at the same time, I thought like
so just don't. You have to go into it with an
It's
open
like
mind.
Seinfeld. It's all about nothing. You can actually compare Blair Witch to Seinfeld. They're literally two things about nothing.
You're the first person to do it and the last.
You know what's scary though is I'm not.
But he's
wrong.
right.
Yeah,
I didn't say that. I just said you're the first and the last.
It's dangerous.
It's a very dangerous thing. I tell you what.
Seinfeld Blair Witch crossover.
Do you like jazz?
I feel like there's one thing we have to talk about before we finish the episode, and that's Willem Dafoe's read.
He was fantastic.
Absolutely.
That's the only good part.
He's like, well,
Yeah, he was perfect.
he was definitely the thing that was consistently amazing throughout this movie.
I mean, well, he
was perfect. Though.
He was visually good, and
it wasn't like
nailed it.
It wasn't like Oscar performance,
No.
but like he was the best part of the movie
Absolutely.
by far, and he nailed the
It's
character.
an adaptation. He's like the only person who seemed to genuinely capture the essence of the character they're adapting, unlike the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
He was also great in What Happened to Monday, but
what did happen to Monday?
I don't want to tell you. It's like a huge part of the story.
Oh, actually?
Yeah.
On a Monday.
Ew.
Is the plot of that movie that the day of the week just goes missing?
Groundhog's Day.
So
You're
to
disgusting.
sum it up without giving it away, because there's a twist at the end.
Okay.
They live in like a world where you can only have one child, and Willem Dafoe's daughter ends up having 7 girls.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Why is that so funny?
and she.
I just like the idea that
Damn it.
Willem Dafoe opens the door. He sees his wife, 7 kids pop.
No, it's his
popping
daughter.
out of
His daughter.
Oh, his daughter, like she has 7 kids pop out of her crotch, and he's like, "Oh fuck!"
But it starts. It's actually. It's really emotional. But it starts where so to make sure that they're not caught, they can only go out on the day of the week that they're named after.
Oh, okay.
So they all take on like one identity of like.
Are they all played by Noomi Rapace?
Yes. And she's actually really good.
I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
Really
Who
sorry.
are you referring to?
Noomi Rapace
From
from Prometheus and the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh,
and Sherlock
yeah.
Holmes.
Oh, she's really good.
She's a great actress.
Yeah.
But she has such an unfortunate last name.
I know. So Monday goes on Monday, Tuesday on Tuesday, and they all have different personalities. And so one day, Monday goes missing, and I don't want to ruin anything else from there, but that's like the main premise.
Okay, that sounds.
Glenn Close is in it. She's really good. Willem Dafoe plays the grandpa who raises them, and his scenes are really good.
Grandpa Willem.
Daddy Willem.
Will I am.
Grandpa Dafoe.
I like Daddy Dafoe.
Daddy
Dafoe. Oh no, that needs to.
Daddy
That's like
Dafoe.
that's a gamer tag or a PSN name.
Daddy Dafoe.
Dude, I'm fucking doing
Daddy Dafoe.
He was definitely the best part of Death Note, though. And
Was it prosthetics or CGI? His
I think it was
face?
CGI.
That was definitely CGI.
Was it?
Or at least
It looked a little bit of both. Like
Maybe it
it
was
was
a
kind of
mix.
weird.
I think
looking.
it was like really good use of lighting because having his character be in the dark for a lot, you couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
Like the effects on Ryuk were incredible.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and I feel
Just
it's
his
definitely where
face,
most of the
too.
budget went.
the movie
Yeah.
visually looked good. I didn't have any problems with that visually look. There's some shots that
The Ferris
genuinely-
wheels
Yeah.
part when they were like
Okay,
hanging, it looked like a green screen.
Yeah,
But
well, yeah,
sure that, but I mean like the Club Massacre.
yeah.
that, like, with the red lighting, genuinely looked like an.
What was
It's
that?
a very
page.
well lit movie.
Did I miss
Yeah.
that part? When was that?
When they're like,
I have no memory of it.
this clan and that clan have been on good terms for decades, and you see all these people dead on the floor, and then it's the first time you see L. It's the first time you see L, and he's like in this club.
Oh yeah. See, that made no impact on me, so I completely forgot.
Oh, you know how in comic books and manga too, you'll have like a double page spread.
Yeah, like
image.
What's that called again?
It's a double page spread.
Double page spread.
Yeah, where you
I
have
like
this
your
nice
double page
image.
spread.
That sounds like a really bad sex move.
I can see it.
It's the double page spread, baby. Open up them cheeks.
But
Fucking disgusting.
But yeah, it looked just like what you'd see in like a manga or an art book almost,
Yeah.
where you open up 2 pages and you have this really cool.
And
like,
it's like the one in the
well-lit
coffee
scene.
shop
That-
when he's sitting,
yeah,
he's like
same thing.
on the chair. It was like that.
Only thing is, I gotta say,
They just start screaming though. He's like, "You're Kira!" And the coffee shop is full of people, and no one reacted to
Yeah.
that.
yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I forgot what I was gonna say. So
Sorry.
if
what?
I remember,
If it was any other movie, like we talk more about it, but I feel like we've said all that needs to be said. How many Ryuks out of
Oh, yeah, I
Ryuk do
remember
you?
now.
Oh, okay.
wait, before you go, I would say this.
Well, I might just go fuck myself.
Going back to the tone, the goofiness of this movie was so fucking
Out
jarring.
of place.
Yeah, it didn't fit. You see, what makes Evil Dead wonderful is that its essence is like a combination between horror and
Because
comedy.
the premise is so absurd that it like works.
Well, it's not less the premise and more the style.
Execution.
He has a
Yeah.
chainsaw for a hand.
Well, yeah, but that's the second movie.
That's
the first
true.
one is like straight up horror, but the second one, it's like his hand is possessed,
Right,
and he's
yeah.
beating himself up with his
Right.
hand.
While the anime is over the top, it never felt stupidly over the top to
Yeah.
me. Yeah, like it had moments where you could say like that wasn't the best story choice. It didn't feel as though it was like a stupid decision. Like I felt like they genuinely thought it through.
Right.
Like we're intentionally making this over the top.
Right.
Whereas with the show, when Ryuk shows up and he's hitting himself on the face as he's screaming, I was like, okay, they've lost me.
Some of the
already.
dialogue was just terrible in this movie too. You're just seeing a really big demon motherfucker.
Yeah, the Ferris wheel scene was horrible.
I know.
I
He's like,
hated that.
You
Yes.
put my name in the book. I didn't think I didn't think you
but I
got
put
it.
I put your name in the book on
I
the
thought
page
you
in the
said-
book in my calculus book on the page in the.
I thought you said you
Dude, you
loved me.
should rap that.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
How many Ryuks out of Ryuk do you give this movie?
15 William Defoe's.
Willem.
so that's only
It's
like
Willem.
that's only half a Ryuk. Then
You know what's sad is
Yeah,
I made the
dog
joke
boy.
Will I Am, but then I I keep saying William.
That's why I said earlier, Will I Am, because it's Willem.
No, I know, but what I was joking about is Will I Am combined with William Defoe.
No,
gonna
we
throw
got
up.
it. We
What do you
got
get?
it.
Okay, point is 15 Willem Defoe's out of how many Ryuks did you give it? 10?
I don't know.
that
10
your
Ryuks?
scale is all over the place. buddy.
Okay, fucking 15 Willem Defoe's out of 10 Ryuks. Continue.
I'm giving
Everything's
it.
out of
I'm
10
giving
Ryuks.
it 5 gnats out of 10 wolves.
I'm gonna give it 5 Watanabes out of 10 wontons.
10 nakeds out of
Out of
10
I was
naked
gonna
brother
make a
bands.
Naked Brothers band too.
What's
It's
that song
dangerous.
that the Naked Brothers band?
Actually, fuck that. It's a
The
2
one,
out of
the
10.
one we played.
The
video-
movie is a 2 out of 10.
Oh
guys.
yeah, I remember they had 2.
Oh,
they had crazy
I
cars.
just wanna play video games. Stay at home. Masturbate all day.
And what was the one you were thinking?
That's one of their songs, literally.
No, what the hell are you talking about?
It's one of their songs, I promise.
I think that's.
That was a
Seriously.
Nickelodeon show.
I'm pretty sure.
No,
That,
okay, they don't say the masturbate part, but
I'm
they literally go, I just wanna play video games. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it now.
They had that song that was Crazy Cars. and
I'm
then they
pretty
had
sure
a-
that
Why
was-
do you know this?
I'm pretty sure you're thinking of Soundgarden.
No. How dare you?
No, it was because this advertisement used to play when I was watching like Fairly Odd Parents,
Right.
and it was for Naked Brothers band.
Yeah, I remember those.
Wait, holy shit! Is this for real?
No, it's not.
God damn it.
You just made that up.
No, I didn't.
You did.
They have a video game now.
Okay, before this, we start like getting into really risque territory.
With the Naked Brothers.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up.
Oh, here we
Anyways,
go.
okay, no. What is this?
It's Crazy Car. It's the hit song. Crazy, crazy car.
Holy shit.
Okay.
Crazy car.
Okay, thanks for listening.
Crazy car.
Feel free to subscribe and
Crazy car.
share this video, like it,
Crazy car.
and share it with your friends and your family and your grandma and your worst enemy. I don't care anymore.
Oh man.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm gonna be crazy car from now
One
on.
apple keeps the doctor away.
Oh, looks like I have AIDS.
Goodbye.